What's up, guys? So alright, I had a little boo-boo. Alright, so got the Xmaxx again. Everything looks pretty cool, right? Until you go back here. Bam! Anybody see what the problem is here? So let me get you a little bit closer so you can kind of tell. Oh yeah. So I took a jump on my hill here at the house, and I think I pretty much got the entire hill air. So that's what, about 20 feet, 15 feet, whatever. And it came out, I don't know, roughly 20 feet. I was going pretty fast and slammed down. Truck took it just fine, except for the shocks. So I bought a new set of shocks, which I wasn't super happy with these guys. Let me get these out here and I'll show you what I'm talking about with them. So I bought these on eBay. They're supposed to be for the Xmaxx. They look cool, all that stuff, right? You cannot get the cap off of here, even though it shows that it's threaded. I mean, you can look at the body here and see some score marks and stuff. I tried really hard to get that thing apart. I could not do it. So I had to take the bottom off here and fill it up that way, which took me forever to bleed the air out of these. Not real happy, especially when you're paying like 60 bucks for shocks. I think it's more than that, 70 something, I can't remember. It was a lot. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get them fitted on here. And I think that's the only thing I got to worry about with this. I've looked the truck over. I don't see any other problems. So I've had a few things happen with this guy here. I've had, I don't remember which wheel it was now. I think it was the front right. This side maybe. Anyway, what happened was the shaft here, it's got a it's like a CV design, and it's got a pin that sits in there, and the pin had come out of over here, and it's not the kind of pin where you can just like thread it back in. It's not that kind of locking pin or whatever. It's like molded in there. I tried everything in the world. I've heated it up. I've got some little low heat welding rods and stuff. None of that stuff works. So I had to end up buying a new one. I did keep the old one just in case. I think I got it up here somewhere in some of my parts, maybe. Yeah, this is it right there. So you can see the pin came out of the top over there. And it's not the kind that's a locking pin where you can just screw it back in. So yeah, it was a little frustrating, but that's all right. It is what it is. We're going to take care of it. I do like the truck quite a bit, actually. It runs really well. It's got decent speed, decent torque. It's pretty much an animal. I see what everybody talks about with these, but there are a few things that you got to do from time to time. And maybe the shocks that I had on here, these are some of my older shocks from, I think they're from one of my Bajas, which is why I thought it would be fine for the Xmaxx, because the weight of the gas motor and stuff, you know, I would imagine would be similar to what I need there. And I've got fork oil in those, which is the same thing that I put in the new ones there. I use the fork oil. This is the fork oil I use. It's made for like dirt bikes and stuff, but I figure when I'm doing something this big, the fork oil should be pretty close to what I need. It's always worked pretty good, and I mean, I've got tons of fifth scales. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then now this guy here, which is like a 6th or 5th, or whatever you want to call it. It's still a large scale car. So it should be sufficient for it. I'm thinking maybe that these shocks were just kind of at the end of their life, maybe, or the shaft is just, you know, maybe it was bent from something I've done before, because when I had that Baja set up as like the old style, just regular, you know, whatever you buy it as, without the cracking cage, I would take that thing and I would just launch it off of stuff. I don't always get video on it, because sometimes when I come home from work, I just want to go outside and just hit it a couple times. Well, that's what I did here. Let's go ahead and get these shocks fitted, show you how easy they are to do. Basically, let me show you this part here. You got a locking piece here, pull the pin out, same on the bottom, that's it. And you just swap the shocks in, put the pin in, put your locking screw in, done. I mean, it's one of the easiest shocks to change out that I've ever done. I mean, the only thing you really got to worry about is, you know, as long as you don't have something real big, like those are pretty big, the coils and stuff on the spring, but it should still have plenty of room in between here. As long as you don't get anything like super big or super long, I think you're okay. That's one thing here. I want to measure up the distance, and let's go ahead and do that now. So we'll just take and see, make sure we didn't get crazy with it, so it matches pretty much up there and down there. So we got the length right. It looks like the width on the coil springs are going to be fine. So let's just go ahead and get it on there, and we'll see what it looks like. All right, guys, there we go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And this is what I had done. Let me just kind of go over here so you can kind of see. This is the shock that had failed. So obviously I just bent the shaft. I could bend that back out. What I'm going to do though is keep them for a spare. And this is one of them two-piece spring setups here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually probably buy another shaft at some point. But until then, these are just going to be used for spares. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys what happened to the Xmaxx, why you haven't seen it for a while. And that's just all it was, man. I just had to get a little bit of time to throw some shocks on it. As you can see, it doesn't even take much time. I just haven't had much of that to do. When I get home and I got a little bit of daylight left, which is not very often, I just want to grab something and go outside and play for a minute. You know, I don't get a whole lot of time these days. We're in our busy season at work, and it is what it is. So, but yeah, that's what I'd done off camera, obviously, and I just wanted to show you how easy that was to fix. And honestly, I mean, I wasn't happy about the shaft. I wasn't happy about the shocks and stuff, but you know, for as hard as I've been running this thing here, I really can't complain. It's been a great truck. I foresee it to be a great truck going forward. And the little things that happen here, I'm more than happy to replace. I've got other trucks like the one in the background back here, that WL Toys, built that thing from scratch and got a lot of aluminum, carbon parts, things like that on it. And it's just a piece. I think another differential went out in it, which is the second differential that's went out already. I don't even know what I'm going to do with that thing, man. I've got quite a bit of money wrapped up in it, and it's just nothing like any of those trucks that I have over there. I mean, it's nothing like that one. And I have, you know, the hay boxing up there, which is just so much better quality of a truck. So this guy here definitely won't complain. A couple things here and there, hey, no problem. I mean, it is what it is. I definitely won't be complaining about that, and I don't think that's going to be any issue going forward. I mean, you know, maybe those shocks just weren't, you know, the right setup for it, maybe. Who knows? You know, now I have actual shocks made for an Xmaxx, so we'll see how this does. This thing was built from scratch. I didn't buy it. I wanted to do it this way for a couple different reasons. For one, I had a different motor and ESC setup I wanted to do, different cush drive. I used some HD, I think, or whatever they're called, the heavier duty differentials. I used those. I used different shafts instead of the Traxxas ones because I didn't like the setup on them originally, but I ended up spending the same exact money and, you know, the same amount of BS. So it is what it is. You live and you learn. But this thing is just amazing. I really love it. When you build something like this from scratch, you learn where everything's at. You learn how it moves, how to put it together, all that jazz. That's why I did that. That's also why I'm going to be doing the Arma Mojave 4S over there. The same reason. I've got a different setup going to go in for the motor. I've got a couple different things set up on the inside, like the I think they call it a motor plate or whatever that thing is, the gearbox or whatever. I bought a metal one. That's a metal setup, supposed to be good quality. I have no idea which one it is, Integy or, you know, one of them other crappy ones. They didn't have one, so I don't know what the actual brand is. I can't remember. But it's one that came recommended to me by somebody I know, so I figured I'd give it a shot. Plastic ones are cool. I have no problem with that, but I've seen plenty of people with the big rocks and stuff like that. The little metal plate they give you inside there to mount the motor on tends to bend. So I figured, okay, well, I'll just try the whole housing is made out of aluminum, and the metal plate or the gear plate or whatever, motor plate, God, I can't speak today, that is made out of a little bit thicker metal. So I figured, what the hell, I'll give that a shot. So I got a couple different things that are going to be different in that truck there, so I kind of figured, what the hell. But back to the Xmaxx here. When you do it from scratch all the way up to where it is now, I know how the truck sits. I know where, you know, things are going to break apart, that kind of stuff. I understand the modular design now. I had to learn all that stuff. I'm still learning on this truck here, but it is an absolutely amazing beast that I really enjoy. And doing the shocks here, as you can tell, I've been talking more than I've been doing anything, and it literally took me 5 minutes, and there's no sense in putting that on camera. It's really just pop the hinges out, take 2 screws out, pop the hinges out, replace. That's all there is to it. Everything on this truck is that easy to work on. Some of it's a little aggravating, like if you got to take apart a module or something like that, but I mean, there is a lot worse trucks than this one here to work on. This one's just actually kind of fun to work on. I don't mind it one bit. So yeah, man, sorry for all the rambling and stuff there, but guys, this thing is super easy to work on. I'm very pleased with it. Power, performance, everything, you know, with the truck. So I was even thinking about doing a wide max kit on it or whatever to kind of give it a little more stability, but I kind of like the instability too. So I don't know, kind of looking into that. Maybe I'll 3D print one or something. I don't know. That's for later on. I've got a whole crap load of projects left to do here that I gotta, you know, get my videos done and get them up here, because those are the things that I wanted to get done already. So, so thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate all the support. Thank you very much.